to Krick. It can't be Zach LaVine. It can't be an older player. It needs to be a guy who still has it. I'm using the cheap analogy. OG Anunoby. That worked. I don't think Siakam worked as much, but with Domas, it worked. That trajectory of player worked. There are players that I don't think Keegan works for.
Does it really fast? Does this look okay? Because I feel like I could do it better on my phone.
Oh, what do you?
You look.
What are you on a computer?
You look great.
Yeah, I'm on a.
Yes, I think it's a little darker than you're used to.
Yeah,
what lounge are you in?
I'm in my hotel room.
What happy hour are you in?
You look fine. You're overreacting.
I'm overreacting.
Yeah, you look great.
You look great.
It's fine.
I noticed something.
We've done this show pixelated before. It's okay.
I noticed something about TK the other day in one of her videos. Your hair is getting longer than we've ever seen it before.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's not even a bad thing. I'm just saying her hair's. I've never seen her hair this.
And you know what makes it really stand out is those chokers that you have, because you had a monster necklace on with the open bottom, and then the hair just flowing down. It was like, oh yeah, TK's hair is. I noticed the same thing. Yeah. TK's hair.
I noticed it when she was in the the forest?
Yeah.
The botanical gardens.
The botanical garden. Golden. You guys obviously are not big Golden Gate Park fans.
Oh, I've been there. Nice. I know exactly where you were. It's very nice.
All right. I don't think Casey goes. If I was gonna typecast Casey,
I wouldn't say I go. I've been.
He's not like, oh, I've got to do that. That's where I have to go.
Yeah, no, but I've been.
You've been.
I've been.
What with the fam?
Yeah. Jazz usually is the one that gets me out there. Jazz got me out to where did we go? Yosemite. I wouldn't have gone to Yosemite if it wasn't for her, and it was very nice. It was cool.
What game was that day?
It's the gold medal game.
Oh God, that's right. That's right. Hold on, stop. I know you're really flustered. I want you to get settled. I know you hate this, so I want you to be okay.
The way that this looks, like I'm not going to give you because you can't see it. I'm literally sitting on the hotel bed. I've got my legs outstretched onto the little side table. And the laptop is sitting on my shoes, but it's better lighting. I like this lighting much better.
You're a pro. You're a pro.
As long as I feel like you have gone through some really uncomfortable lengths to do our show with good lighting and good video quality. So
I should probably be in a place that's a little more stable when we do our hits, but just my life right now is not set up that way. And I love you for accepting me for it.
Sweetie, our show isn't set up that way. That is not what we do here. We argued about food for like an hour earlier. It's fine.
I want to just say back to your Kings point, because before we lose this thread, I just want to, give myself the receipts and put them back out there. The Chatty House, they keep receipts. Remember, I advocated for trading Keegan Murray for Lauri Markkanen. And I talked to James Ham in studio about it, and fans and folks were like, you're crazy. And I bet you right now, you'd be very happy with Lauri Markkanen and Keegan Murray in a first-round pick as the trade.
I think we would too. I was going back to after Beam Team 1 year, though, that summer. And everybody's like, they didn't do anything. That summer, there was stuff. They got complacent and all this other stuff.
Well, I think you could have done it then, if I'm not mistaken, no?
Are we?
Yes.
But are we? I know we're just fans. I understand that. But should we have been trading Keegan Murray after his rookie year? Like, who was in that mindset?
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, I completely understand that. But this is the game you play as a general manager. And if your belief is like that's who he is, you write it out. Like, all right, this is what we're going with. The problem is there has allegedly been a number of offers on the table that involved Keegan Murray in trades. Mm-hmm. And they said no to all of them, and they all look really bad right now. Mm-hmm. Now we don't know the true validity.
Can we talk about what those are? Because I don't think I'm up on what those are.
Well, No, because we don't. I think there's extenuating circumstances in all of them. The long belief has been that Toronto, in both player conversations, were pushing for Keegan Murray. The problem with that is the players had a lot of control in that. OG Anunoby had control because of their contract situations.
Pascal, they didn't want to go to Sacramento.
I don't think that's true about OG Anunoby, but Pascal Siakam, maybe it is. And maybe Sacramento didn't want to pay Pascal Siakam the deal that Indiana did. That's Siakam's agent to that's his job, his agent's job to know that stuff. So Keegan Murray being involved in that isn't good business if you don't know you're signing OG Anunoby or you're signing Pascal Siakam. You can include Keegan Murray in those deals. Outside of that, I don't know what else Keegan has been involved in. Certainly not that has been public.
I think also,
and that's a rumor, by the way. I don't even know if Masai pushing for Keegan is accurate. I think it really boiled down to the contract stuff. Sorry, TK.
Good point. I think if you're a GM, you have to assess where you are in the developmental life cycle of your team, right? And so how important is it to add a young player where your team is and what those aspirations are? And given that the team went to the playoffs, went 7 games with Golden State, and then Golden State ended up winning the title, and you gave them such a tough fight along the way, you think to yourself, well, we're not in a mode of developing guys and waiting 3, 4, 5 years for them to turn into who they are. We need a guy who is largely around what Keegan Murray's upside is, or at least the median of his upside right now. We can't be waiting for that. And so if you have Domantas Sabonis and you have De'Aaron Fox, you say to yourself, well, we need to sort of figure out a way to be in a win now scenario. And a rookie, this is the best time to trade a player, is when their value is the highest. You can't wait for, a sophomore slump to start thinking about putting your guy on the trade block. You have to kind of maximize the amount of value that they have.
I agree with you. I believe Trysta would probably said the same thing in the summer of 2023. But everybody, I got to stop saying everybody. A lot of people were like, yo, you just found this next two-way, great player with the 4th pick and Keegan Murray. It wasn't somebody, I don't think it was somebody that you were going to trade or they were going to trade at that particular time. You start talking about money, you start talking about the cap and all this other stuff, and you've got this guy that you think is that good on the rookie deal. I don't think they were. Now, I brought all that up to say people look at, oh, you should have got this guy and this guy, and yada, 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 as to why they didn't get better. To me, the front office is on thin ice, if not gone, and they butchered this whole thing because they haven't drafted correctly since Tyrese Haliburton. Mm-hmm. They've missed on damn near everything. I'm not going to call Keegan a miss because I think he's a good ball player. Yep. But when you look at what's around him, you look at Jaden Ivey.
Or who's not here. Oh,
well, yeah. But those guys around it, this guy's the 4th pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. And you can, right now, whether it's good business or not, Detroit, just in a fantasy world, could say, you know what? I've seen Jaden Ivey pre-injury and everything. We're going to build around him. He's franchise. Portland, they can look at Shaden and be like, it's a little risky, but he's our guy. Let's build around him. There's no way you can say that. Dyson Daniels to a certain degree. There's no way you say
Jalen Williams.
There's no way you would say that about Keegan Murray. And their inability to draft anybody in about 5 years that you could look at and say, if all this goes to hell, we've got this guy and we're gonna build some stuff around him. That's the biggest, to me, that's the biggest failure of their tenure.
Yeah. What a mess.
Yeah, you look back at that draft class and you're like, wow, there were a lot of more impactful guys that you should have been at least looking at. And I know that the OKC Thunder drafted Jalen Williams in the 13th overall spot. But if you're really secure in your talent evaluation, OKC does this all the time. And this is the difference between them and everybody else. They don't care what everybody else's draft boards say. They stand 10 toes down in their takes and what their eyes tell them and what their scouting does. I think so many times evaluators, GMs, front offices in general get so tapped in to what the Athletic is putting out and what Sam Vecini in general and like Draft Express, and like it gets into this almost echo chamber mentality where you draft guys based on what the media tells you is the draft board, not what you see. And I think that is a massive mistake and one that'll get you fired.
Well, the Kings definitely didn't do that with Keegan.
No. And we focus on Keegan. I put emphasis on that draft class, but the Davion draft class, this one that just passed, the Devin Carter, that's the nail in the coffin.
The Devin Carter
for this front office group.
CK told us, pat yourself on the back again. Told us day one.
That's the nail in the coffin. Like you can't go 5 years with, and just for argument's sake, only getting one guy in the draft that you can even look at as being a rotational guy. You can't do that.
How was All-Star festivities for you in San Francisco?
All-Star festivities were, I would say, out of a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it an 8.6. Didn't get to see Kenny doing his thing in San Francisco.
Didn't have his phone charger with him.
Couldn't keep up with Trysta. Couldn't keep up.
I texted him and he was like, oh, I'm going to Oakland. I got this Jordan thing. I'm like, yo, the line's 5 miles long. Why are you even over there? Come back over here.
And I did.
He was on some BS. And then I'm like,
no, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. What happened? Hold on.
You didn't hit me until like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, because where were you supposed to be?
I was supposed to be in the arena at 5, but I wanted to meet you before 5 because I wasn't sure.
Well, no, you weren't sure.
Well, I mean, I was sure, but then I got to the party that was literally inside a Chase at this Miller and Lux Steakhouse, and like Mr. Beast was inside. I'm sorry, you can't compete with Mr. Beast.
Well,
I just had sushi with you.
I texted. I was like, TK, what are you doing here? I'm so hyped, man! I get to see my first All-Star Saturday night with TK.
He told me it was dead. By the way, he told me the vibe. The nail in the coffin was that I said, what is it like in there? I'm right next door. And Kenny said, it's a little dead in here. And I said, all right, chucking up the deuces, because it's Chinese New Year. You know, when people get out that bitch, Ubers are going to be surging. The lines are going to be crazy. It's going to take you 30, 40 minutes to get an Uber. I was not trying to walk from Chase Center 2.7 miles back to Nob Hill to my little Holiday Inn. So I was not trying to do that. So I had a 4-minute Uber wait for $9 and I watched it on TV. That's what I did.
Did you see what happened though? I was there. I said, yo, TK,
but I hit you at noon. Kenny, I hit you at noon o'clock. Where are you? What's happening? I just got my credential. And he was like, oh, yeah, you know what people like do. There's a lot of like,
murkiness. I was going.
There's like murkiness around their plans.
5 hours to get from Oakland to San Francisco?
No, I was at around that time. I stopped in Alameda. Thought I'd be able to get in there. Didn't happen. Okay. And it took me about an hour to get to the hotel.
You see, this is what I deal with on a day-to-day basis.
And then I got downtown and I hollered.
This is what I'm talking about. Is that there's like gaps in time where you're like, well, I hit you at noon and I didn't hear back till 5. It doesn't take.
That's not what happened.
It doesn't take that long for you to do all these things. Like, I feel like a wife, right? Like, where are you at? Like, I got to track you. I need to be accounting every minute. It's like, okay, well, I'll just see you the next time around. And then Kyle's like, oh, you know, I gotta go see Logan, and Logan's show is from 2 to 4. I'm like, Logan lives local to you, Kyle. You do not need to pull up to a podcast recording, but it's cool. I'm just out here outside waiting for you two. The only thing I had planned.
If I didn't know you weren't going to All-Star Saturday night, we would have. I didn't know she wasn't gonna go. I was like, TK, I'm up in
Come
here.
back later.
I'm not going. What?
Wow. Y'all just fumbled the TK bag everywhere. My goodness.
I know. And here's the thing. I made the drive to Sacramento. I rented a car. The amount of effort I put in for you guys as like our collective family is immense. Only you guys and my mom and pretty much it. Maybe my childhood friend Nancy. That's the amount of effort. Those are the three people I would put that much effort in for. Going through a torrential rainstorm
again.
It was a scary, dicey drive back too. It was very
was it
wet,
really?
pause. Yeah, very wet, pause. Rain coming into the face, pause. The entire time.
Yep.
And so, and the little Mazda that I was driving was squirrely.
Yep. See that, yeah.
But overall, I would say that All-Star Weekend was good. I just wish I wish my boys would have pulled up. And then I texted Kyle, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't realize it was Chinese New Year, so I got up out of there. I just left, just went back home."
Now, that wasn't the last time I talked to TK. I hit her up after All-Star Weekend. So what's the move, TK?
I had a 6 a.m. flight the next day.
What you want to do? Like
to be outside.
I wasn't outside. I wasn't gonna
stay up all night.
TK moves with intention.
Come on, and the choker comes off. Pause. It's a wrap. It's just
you're having quite a stretch here.
Oh man.
It's the Flamin' Hot Cheetos and TNT broadcasts, and that's it. You know what it's like, Damien. Once you get inside, I bet it's like it's a wrap. It's night.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. At least I didn't lie to you. We parted ways on Thursday night. Like, okay, sorry, I can't make it. You know, we got stuff going on, but you know, have a good time with the fellas. And
I know
I hit her twice.
No, it's not what it sounded like.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to connect with Kenny on Kenny's time.
It's okay. I get it. Kenny was not even bothered. He was like, "Oh, I gotta go to a CVS. I gotta get Reese some medicine." It was like he pulled up to the sushi spot for 8 minutes. And he was late. We literally left the studio at the same exact time. And somehow the gaps in time I'm talking about, Kenny pulls up 15 minutes later than us. How? It's across the block.
I was on a phone call.
Literally across the street. Like
this is what
I was on a phone call.
Across the street.
I was on a phone call.
Being married to you is really challenging at times.
It's beautiful.
I mean, because you're a good soul, and like I bet you that she forgives you a lot. You know, like she's like, "Oh, he's just a nice guy, and he means well," but like he's effing up.
It is blissful.
I couldn't be married to a woman like Kenny. Just a woman with no sense of urgency whatsoever. Just none. It would drive me crazy. It's hard enough being married to Kenny this way.
Like, settle down.
That's all the time. That's Casey.
Yes. He's like, he would make you feel like a histrionic husband, like you were paranoid, like the gaslighting would be insane.
Brutal. Where are you at now? And how long are you there? Because I feel like you're flying home today.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
No, I am not flying home tonight. I will be on the show on It Is What It Is for Thursday morning and Friday morning. So I fly back.
Oh, Friday. Wow. Okay, that was not the case the last time we talked, so that's good.
I got to the studio yesterday, and they were like, something, what's happening for the rest of the week? And I didn't pay any attention to it, and Cam said, "Yo, Tris, can you stay another couple days?" And I said, yes. That was that. So
yes, TK sends me the eyes emoji. I'm like,
yeah, it didn't pause.
I was like, what? I'm looking at the phone like, what's on the way? And here comes a video. I'm like, yo, she's at the win. And when she's in Las Vegas, I know what that means. So we back cooking with that was a hell of an intro too. Like I enjoyed the intro to yesterday's show. That was solid stuff.
listen. You know what I mean? Can't say much, but you just thank you.
That's what,
You know?
that's what you say. You know what I
Thank you.
mean? Just yeah.
You know, it's been this way, but thank you. Appreciate it.
CK, who's the most? I think you guys were talking about this a little bit today. I didn't get to watch the show. I watched the clip you posted. Who's the most? What team you got your eye on the most when the season starts back up tomorrow or tonight? I guess.
Ooh, that's such a great question. I might have to steal it for
You
tomorrow's
got it.
show.
It's
I
yours.
think it's gotta be Denver for me, right? I think,
Really?
yeah, I think they are being awfully quiet, right? I think the amount of people talking about them is almost none, right? Even you were pretty shocked that I brought them up. But if you look at what they've done since they ended up kind of figuring out their rotation, what are they, 25-9 since they were struggling early in the season? Jokic is still the best player on planet Earth. Jamal Murray has, I don't know how, because I thought he was cooked. I was pretty sure. But he's coming off, his last game was 55 against my Trailblazers. So he's still more than capable, shooting 38% from three. So if he's able to carry a team and be that type of elite scorer that we know him to be capable of in like high leverage moments, and we really don't have anyone else in the West that we trust, right? Like, I know that people say that the OKC Thunder are like the crowned, coronated team, but they struggle to score. They have their own set of deficiencies and things that I wonder about. They don't have a secondary player that I know for sure is going to be a dog and carry the team. It's Shea, and I really hope it's Chet, but I don't really know because he's coming off of injury and he's only in his second year. I love Jalen Williams, and I just advocated for the Kings to have picked him up in the draft, but like he hasn't had that many great games that were important games. So if I'm Denver, I'm like, I know the Lakers are hot-ish right now, but we beat the hell out of them every time we see them hoes. And OKC, they can't score with us. Yeah, they can play defense, but can anyone play defense against Jokic? I don't think so. I don't think he's defendable. I think Jokic would destroy Chet. That body on body pause, like Chet is frail and fragile. He would get he would touch earth. So I think it's got to be Denver. I think they're being slept on quite a bit with the injuries to Dallas, who I was pretty high on after the trade. The way that matchup looks between Denver and LA. And just, I don't really trust Houston or Memphis at all. I don't think that they can keep up with what Jokic can do. So I'm very curious. Like, I would not be surprised if I saw Denver play Boston in the finals.
I'm with you on the question marks for OKC. I don't know if they're built for playoff time. I look at the game a little different, and they talk about not liking defense and stuff like that. But I'm a big believer in those playoff moments. You need those bucket getters. Jalen Williams might be that guy, but I'm not sure. Alex Caruso, who's really, really good as a defender, he's a guy that can lose you a series. Because if teams have enough offense to like skirt around him on his defense and say on his offense, we're just going to let him shoot 15 times a series or a game, excuse me, you're going to be like, oh, they can't make any shots outside of SGA. So I'm interested to seeing what they might be able to do. You've made great arguments about Denver. I think Memphis is being slept on a little bit. I think Houston, simply because they haven't had the experience, is the reason why. But I do think, like, basketball-wise, I think they can go with anybody in the Western Conference playoffs. I'm interested to see what Houston ends up being.
They have one of the worst field goal percentages in the league, especially from deep. This is a team that is going to play bully ball and try to win these 95 to 97 games. So that's a valuable trait to have in the playoffs, right? They play a good half court style of basketball, but I think you have to have reliable bucket getters. And I know you love Jalen Green, but I don't, until I see it, I don't believe in Jalen Green in that setting.
You know what, real quick, you know what, it sounds crazy, and I'm not saying they can make a run, but I do think the Kings are built for a playoff series. I just don't know if they can get there. They're not built for the regular season. But when things slow down, like a DeRozan slows down, you got Zach LaVine, Sabonis in the half court. I think they're better than people give them credit for in a playoff series. Once again, I'm just not sure they can get there.
Yeah, I don't agree about Zach LaVine, but everybody knows that. So everybody knows that. Has he shown up yet? Has he or no?
They played well the other night. They lost.
Well, don't bring that kid out. Trysta watched that game live.
Yeah, I watched that game live. He has the most forgettable buckets. When you look at his stats, we were like talking about, I wonder how Zach LaVine did tonight. And he had 32. I don't remember a single bucket.
No, but you remember that overtime.
Yeah, I do.
She damn near threw a tuna roll at the screen watching him play.
And I'm done with Debo. I am so over Debo.
Well, she threw the chopsticks at Debo on that one. Yeah, she was not having it.
And you can see it. The thing that bothers me is you can watch it develop. Like, oh, no, okay, well, Debo's got the ball. All right, doesn't matter how many guys are around him. Oh, doesn't matter if he's off balance. Guys draped on him. Pause. He's taking that shot, and it's not going in. It's not. You just know, this is a horrible shot. And there's so many bad shots that he takes in crucial moments. Quite frankly, there's not many players on this team I particularly love right now. That's just me. It's not as bad as the Rashawn Holmes days, but
you're not alone.
Rashawn Holmes ain't bothering nobody. Like that man. He's just
remember
living his life. And all of a sudden,
remember I was out there stumping for Rashawn Holmes. I was like, he's a decent pick and roll center, one of the best pick and roll. Blah 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 blah. No, Trysta, don't stick up for him like that.
Do you see any pathway to a future for this basketball team?
I hate to say it, man, but this is how I operate. This is my philosophy. It's just, I think when I look at basketball teams in terms of what pieces do you have that you can turn into, more depth or some sort of semblance of a future that you believe in. And when you are not when you're a win now team, that makes it very challenging because you can't really use the draft to do that unless you're willing to mortgage your future to do it. And I don't love that idea because I don't think the Kings are that close in order to make such a rash decision. So if you don't believe in the organization in terms of getting win now players, transcendent players who can contribute in a winning fashion right now, like a Chet Holmgren, which they don't come around that often, then you have to start looking at the existing roster and make painful decisions to reset. Because DeMar DeRozan, you could probably get something for him, something decent, but I don't know what type of players you can get. You could probably get a lot for Keegan or a decent amount for Keegan, but you say to yourself, well, I don't think his contract's going to command that much, and maybe he's a piece for the future. But the question is really, I hate to even broach it, really. And he's been so awesome, and I love him as a talent, but what can you get for Domas?
I mean, that's the topic again. If people are very convinced that this is going nowhere,
you have to evaluate it.
You strip it all down.
You don't think there's. Did I understand you? You don't think there's value in a Domas trade?
I think there's value. You have to ask yourself, does he want to stick through that pain? Is that something that is really like fair to him? Can you create a rebuild or a retool in time for him to still be in his prime? Does he limit what type of pieces you can put around the team in order to win? Like, or does he limit the type of team that you can build? These are all questions that you have to ask. And I think Domas would get you a lot. I think he's probably the most valuable piece that this team has right now.
Yeah,
I think that's accurate.
I just think, and I don't want Domas to go anywhere, but why would you keep him around?
Yeah, I hear you.
Just that number one, like you guys mentioned, that's the biggest asset you have that can net you the biggest return. And yeah, there's no need in keeping him around. One of the things that I was going to talk about, also following that 2022-23 season being Team 1 year, is in hindsight, because all this stuff is in hindsight. In hindsight, you never had a franchise player. You never had a guy that was going to elevate you to that next tier. You never had that. I don't think Sabonis is that. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is that. Like if we're clamoring to get Cam Johnson to get out of the 10th seed, then you don't have that guy.
That's fine.
So like,
yeah, that's fine.
People, but my thing was, people were like, oh, they had this future and they just sat on it. Did they really?
Who did they sit on?
They just sat on the team. They didn't do anything to improve.
Oh,
did they really though?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Fox was the guy at one point.
I did
I'm
too.
not going to pretend.
I thought he could be, but
it's become clear.
I thought Keegan was going to be better than.
I didn't think Keegan, but I didn't think Keegan was.
But a lot of.
But if you're talking about a leader, that's not a Keegan.
No.
If you're talking about a franchise guy,
no, I'm just saying, just in general, like we thought a lot of things about those players that didn't really come to fruition. We thought by now Keegan be averaging 18, 19 points per game, and be this potential all-star.
Yeah,
and we were wrong.
And he's at least offensively, he's regressed. You think he's ass defensively, so you got nothing. You do. You just said defender. It. I don't think that's what you said.
I remember that.
You said CJ was calling for him.
Why do I keep getting jumped on this show? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you not do that? You were like, hey, give me the ball. Look it.
He acted like, yo, guys, lick their chops. Pause.
Bro, that's what he said.
You're like, switch him onto me.
Did CJ look worried at all?
Well, CJ never looks worried against anybody on the Kings.
He even looked flustered, like he got some type of fluster when Keon was guarding him. There was no flustivity when Keegan was just like, I don't
think that's a word.
I'm just gonna walk into this three.
Well,
this guy's 5 inches taller than me. So what? Pull up. Cash.
That's insane.
Now, once again, to Keegan's defense, he shouldn't be guarding CJ McCollum's.
He should not. I think also if you're thinking to yourself, is there hope? Is there somebody that the Kings can at least think about and be excited about moving forward? And the one thing that you can say is that the Atlanta Hawks finished last year 36-46, 10th place. They were a play-in team. And somehow the Atlanta Hawks won the freaking lottery. That's a possibility. That's something that you can say, well, listen, we don't get in the playoffs and we miss the play-in, whatever. We can get Cooper Flag. That's a real possibility. It's a very low likelihood, but it happened. Atlanta had the number 1 overall pick, and they should not have had it. I don't even know what the percentage was for them to get it, but it was very low. Imagine getting Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper will be a leader. Absolutely will be a leader. He's super nice. Like he's going to be a consummate pro. He's like a very vocal leader. You've got guys like Cooper Flag that certainly you're hoping to get, but there's other dudes out there as well. VJ Edgecombe. You've got Ace Bailey. There's dudes that I think will, could help immediately. Cooper Flagg being obviously number one. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Speaking of Dylan Harper, he's on my lineup for Prize Picks tonight. I went all college tonight on Prize Picks. I got RJ Davis.
What else were you?
I got Malik Mack. I got DJ Wagner. I got Dylan Harper, and I got Ace Bailey. All of those guys, well, actually, 3 of those guys I'm going more with the points. RJ Davis, Malik Mack at Georgetown, and Dylan Harper. I'm going less with the points with DJ Wagner and Ace Bailey. Make sure if you go to Prize Picks, put in that promo code KIFM. So you get $50 with your first $5 lineup. Must be present in certain states.
No, I love
Prize Picks. Run your game.
I love that we're so good at this point. Even people who listen every day had no clue that was a read. I love the world that we've built here. It's just terrific. Just absolutely
Shout
terrific.
out Trysta. Reminded me of Dylan Harper being in my lineup today.
Got to pay the bills. Got to keep the lights
problem
on.
is, bro. The problem is, like you talking about these draft selections. Like I don't know that they have a front office capable of drafting the right guy.
You got to fire them as soon as the season ends. They cannot stay. They got to go.
Please say it louder in case anyone
fire them. Fire everybody. Wes, I don't care. Get rid of that little. I'm tired of seeing that bubble vest.
Well, even if you do, like, you can go get whoever in here you want to. The living and dying by the draft is just it's Russian roulette.
Oh, for sure, it is. But it seems like every other franchise is hit.
Yeah,
I guess the Kings hit with Tyrese, but they had other plans for him.
Oh, yeah,
he's regressed though too, guys. Like he really.
So I don't think so. You talk about the leader. I don't think Tyrese is that either. Tyrese is like a fine leader, but is he the guy to lead a team?
No, I think you can build around him though. I think he has leadership skills that helps with putting the team together.
Well, would we have been in a better position if the trade was De'Aaron Fox for Domantas Sabonis?
Yes. Because you wouldn't have Zach LaVine on your effing team, and you would still have Tyrese Halliburton and Domantas Sabonis, and he would have never hamstringed you and tried to say he didn't want to leave and did want to leave. He would have never hired Clutch Sports. Absolutely, it would have been a better spot. And it would have never been bad vibes. Tyrese makes you feel good when you talk to him. It's like De'Aaron Fox was moody. We never knew.
That's Tyrese's that's his superpower. He is a leader. He is a galvanizer of people. And he's good at basketball, so I don't want to make it like he's
very good. Yeah.
But I never thought he was better than De'Aaron Fox as a basketball player. But what he didn't have as a basketball player, he would be able to make up for in his leadership and galvanizing abilities.
Yeah, De'Aaron's like a very talented. He's like that coworker that you have that's very talented, but they just are always complaining about something. You walk in and you were in a great mood and like, traffic. You see, my DoorDash was late. These effing our manager called me and what's he want? My old lady wants to go to the movies. Like, dog, you don't. This is not.
Man, these shots at Kenny all day are just so unsolicited.
that ain't me. I don't say two words in this.
No, Kenny don't walk in.
Kenny's in a good mood a lot.
Kenny will just walk in and go, man, it was an accident.
No, Kenny's good vibes. Kenny's the kind of guy.
Well, Kenny complained once, and man, did stuff get done after that.
No, Kenny's the type of player. Kenny's the type of player who is a certified bucket, but eats 8 bags of Chester Cheetos a day.
Cheetos are gross.
An Aunt Edwards, if you will. Makes everybody feel good when they're around him. But he doesn't really want to put all the work in because he's so immensely talented. He doesn't feel like he has to. That's Kenny.
Man, that personality profile is crazy.
I play my role. There's a lot of things I do differently, but I play my role. There's a lot of things.
My bad. I didn't mean to open up any wounds.
There's a lot of ideas I have, a lot of things I do differently, but you know what?
Damn, this is like when I was on. Never mind.
No, this is a shoot. Like, we actually don't get along. People think this is a work. Like, we actually don't get along. It's two people who are thrown together. Like, yo, do a show together.
You guys do excellent content together, and I will say this: no matter what the actual reality is, you guys have a smile on your face, and I look forward to being around both of you equally every time I see you and every time I come on the show.
Well, I'd be around
yin
you.
and
They just be playing. They'd be like, "Oh, Trysta, I'm in Alameda," or "Trysta, I'm at the Logan Murdoch show."
No, it's facts. No, but Kenny's a feel good. Kenny, you want to be around him. He's got the warmth of the sun. That he really does. You really do. That is your gift, Kenny.
She says she wants to be around me while she wasn't around me all weekend.
Well, it just sounds like that.
You spent 7 minutes at sushi. I could have brought you into the meta party. We could have been inside with Mr.
another
Beast.
Party you could have gotten into.
I hit TK up. What's the move? I said, what's the move?
You gotta hit me prior. It can't be when the fire marshals come in and shut the party down.
It was 8 o'clock.
They turned away Michael Crabtree. They're not letting another person in.
Kitty getting in while Michael Crabtree getting turned away would have been so awesome.
Crabtree getting turned away.
Crabtree looking to KC. Hey, can you get me in, bro? Hey, sorry, man. I can't.
I said to them, I was like, by one of the party like curators, I was like, hey, they just turned away Michael Crabtree. And he goes,
KC could have had the weekend of a lifetime.
People were in the hotel room.
Who?
TK. I asked her, what's the move? Let's go. She said, I'm in a hotel room, dog.
I was talking about when actually there was stuff going on that I wanted to be a part of and I could have got you into. I could have said, hey, you can use my charger. Got a little block.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
Well, see, that wouldn't have been the case. If I would have linked up with TK, would have had the charger, I would have been at Curry's party. I wouldn't even gone back to the hotel.
By the way, we have to talk about that photo really fast of Curry and Aisha. She wears the pants. She wears the pants. That's all I'll say. That's what I got out of that.
I love that we're ending this segment with TK charging the computer. All right, we can't put anymore. No, I got you. We love you to death. We are tapped in the rest of the week. For you, Cam and Mace, looking forward to that, and hopefully there's a lot more on the way.
Love y'all. Talk to you soon.
All right, TK.
All right, love you, TK. We'll come back. I think